Hello and welcome to my new video, how to draw a female face. In this drawing I'll show you one way to draw a female face. I'll try and keep the drawing really simple, concentrating on the eyes and the textures in the hair and the clothes that she's wearing. So for this drawing the first step is going to be to draw the eyes of the face, and for this I'll start off with the right hand eye and just draw a simple almond shape, and then I just need to add the iris of the eye, the big circle that needs to just be cut off by the top eyelid, and then we'll do another line on the above the top eyelid and then just indicate the pupil of the eye, the dark black area in the eye. And now I'll work on to the left hand eye, and I'll work out where this eye goes by looking at it in relation to the right hand eye. So from this stage it would be really useful to look at both eyes together, so you're sort of drawing one eye but looking at how it relates to the other eye at each stage. So trying to define the shape of the left eye so that the left eye works, but also so that it works with the right eye, so that she's going to be looking out, not directly straight at us, so that both eyes need to be looking exactly the same direction if possible. And then just working on the top eyelid of the eye on the left as well, and just indicating slightly where the pupil of the eye goes, so we start to get that direction of look, so that it has like a beam direction of look for the eye. Just work on the base of the eye, and because she's looking to the left of the picture a little bit, just need to be careful on the left hand side of both eyes that I get the shapes just right. So the next stage is to indicate the nose, again with the few lines possible. For this drawing we're going to really only be able to see the right hand nostrils of the nose. I don't want to do a solid line going down, but just indicate a few lines to mark out the base of the nose around the nostril. And then working down with a couple of lines to find out where the top lip of her mouth will be, and trying to guess really how that will relate to the face in relation to the head. But for this drawing we're not drawing the whole head in the way because it's going to be a hat and hair, just the face. So the features of the face need to work together. So I just draw in some eyebrows, and then from the eyebrow on the left I can try and work out the shape of the side of her face on the left, so that it works with the basic shapes that we've got. And then maybe rather than a line for the right, I just do a sort of different line which will show the line of her hair. And then I'll go back to her mouth and just indicate a little bit more where the center of her mouth is, and then the lower lip, not concentrating too much on the edges of the mouth because that tends to make the drawing quite harsh, which I don't really want for this. So the basic features are in, and because she's going to have quite a lot of sort of curly hair, I think I won't need to draw the ears, which are quite good. And just marking out where her jawline will go, and then she's got a shoulder which is quite prominent because of the style of the dress that she's wearing. So that makes a nice sort of curve on the left. And then I'll draw the line of her neck, which will just be a straight line but at an angle. And then work out her right hand shoulder and start to add some lines to indicate the wavy hair on the right, just looking at the direction of the general lines on the right to get the sort of form of the hair, and then moving across on the left as well, a bit like a cloud. And then I'll just use an eraser to rub out any of the basic lines that I've done to make sure that I haven't got too many lines, because I want this just very few lines. Now working back within the eyes, because they seem to be okay, I will darken the eyes, so just using a 4B pencil again and just making the marks, just pressing down firmer now that I'm more confident about exactly where I want those lines to be. But again, not really drawing over the top of the lines too much, but sort of redrawing, so I'm re-looking and just looking and see what works. So the eyes are in to a basic extent, and then because they're quite small eyes and it's quite a small drawing, sort of A4 drawing, I just need to do a little bit of shading in the eyes, leaving a little bit of highlight. The highlight where the light sort of catches the eye, makes it look alive, will be on the right hand side of the pupil in these eyes, and then everything else needs to be slightly dark but nothing too much. So it's not going to be a high contrast drawing, but it's going to have contrast in the textures within the image rather than anything else. So the eyes are generally quite dark, and the whites of the eyes, you know, when you look at somebody's face, the whites of the eyes are quite dark, but in this drawing I'm not really going to darken them too much. It's quite interesting. I think sometimes when you get the eyes and they start to work a little bit, it makes the rest of the drawing look very much like a linear line thing, and the eyes look more realistic because they're seen in contrast with the simple lines that you have around them. So just indicating as well, indicating a little bit of the eyelashes, and then I'll move along from the eyes, I think now, and just block in the eyebrows a little bit, leaving them quite general, nothing too specific. And then I think after this I'll just make the eyeballs, the whites of the eyes, slightly darker, just so that they sort of fit in and recede from the picture plane. So they recede so they don't come forward too much in the drawing, but they sort of go backwards a little bit. So just checking the two eyes that they work together still, and maybe smudging with my finger a little bit. So I think the eyes are done. I'll move on to the hair. And for this I'm actually going to draw the lines of the hair in, and more the direction of the lines and how they sort of curve and overlap and intertwine with each other, so that the hair has sort of a movement in it, so that the lines of the hair show the lines of movement. So because the hair is going to be quite a dark area of tone and texture within this drawing, I can press down with the pencil and make lines quite firm, as I know that later on I'm going to put a general tone over these lines so that they're not quite so linear. So now working on the left hand side a little bit, so I don't want to finish the right hand hair too much until I know how the left hand hair is going to go. So to do that I think I need to darken the shoulder a little bit and then work into the face, so it's not just the eyes and the eyebrows. So a small little indication of tone towards the base of the nose and nostril, and just a little indication of tone, lightness and darkness around the mouth area. Not doing anything much, trying to keep this drawing as simple as possible. The mouth can just be indicated with a few tones. Normally the top lip is slightly darker than the bottom lip because of the way that light from above hits the face. So now I'll go back to working on the hair, which is sort of an endless task in a way. I mean, it will finish at some stage, but I just work on it quite speedily with the lines, blocking in the darkest tones and making the rest lines, thinking about how the light is catching the hair as well and trying to even up, so I just speed up my drawing on the left hand side a little bit so that I can catch up with what I've drawn on the right. I really want this drawing so that the white paper, the blank pieces of paper in the drawing work with the textures that are around it. Now in a pencil drawing like this, we talk about textures, like things have a texture, a feel to them, but a drawing is a two-dimensional thing clearly, and the textures that we're trying to replicate and show aren't real textures, they're just the indication of textures because it's just a 4B pencil just making various marks. So I want to try and get the smoothness of the face, the density of the eyes, the softness of the hair, and then I'll do maybe some dots on those and some sort of patterning or knitted sort of effect for her hat. So there are different sorts of textures indicated through just using a 4B pencil. So working on the hat area here, I just do a curve around the face, keeping it simple yet again, and then maybe a double curve for that, just so it's got a bit more body to the shape, and then work out how the hat might relate to the hair, so how it sort of sits on the head. It's always a good idea, just if you're going to draw a figure with a hat, to make the hat make sure that the actual form of the head would fit underneath it. That's no problem here because it's quite a wide floppy hat, I think, and it's sort of cut off by the top of the drawing as well. So I just work out how the hair, it's actually easier to draw the hair now I've got a line where the hair will stop and the hat will start. So I really want to make those different areas within the drawing. So now I've really defined exactly where the hair is on the left and on the right, and I can really work into that now, getting a full range of tones. Tones are just another word for shading, how much you shade something, if you make it very dark or very light, and that just depends on how firmly you press with the pencil. A 4B pencil is normally the pencil that I use because it has a good tonal range. You can get a fine line, a sharp edge, a sharp line, and also you can make it go very dark if you need to. So it's quite a flexible drawing implement to use. So now I just need to continue working on the hair, and then I'm going to add some dots very soon to the fabric that she's wearing, and then I'll put some texture onto the hat as well. And then I'll just smudge into the face a little bit to indicate some tone. And by smudging with your finger, it's quite a good way to get a subtle range of tones, which is quite difficult to do by just using the side of the pencil. So for this video, I think I've done most of it, so I'm going to speed up the process now. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, Circle Line Art School, for many more art videos. If you find it useful for your own drawing, thank you for watching and see you next time.